MMA Fighting presents Timeline. Israel Adesanya versus Paulo Costa. March 11th, 2017, UFC Fight Night 106, Belfort versus Gastelum, Fortaleza, Brazil. The 8-0 Paulo Costa makes his UFC debut as the curtain jerker against Gareth McClellan. Costa defeats McClellan early in round 1 and takes home a $50,000 performance bonus. June 3rd, 2017, UFC 212, Aldo versus Holloway, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Paulo Costa makes a quick return to the cage, this time on a main card of a pay-per-view against Oluwale Bamgbose. Costa remains undefeated and wins by second round KO.
And just the last question, among the other fights in the UFC, we had a lot of great finishes tonight. What stand out the most as the most impressive one for you?
Obviously, Paulo Borrachinha.
So you think he's a future star in the UFC?
Well, he's definitely got, the looks. He's got the power for that. He's got, he talks well as well. So, and Brazilian market really needs another star. So he's got the potential, but I would like to see him against tougher competition before stating that.
November 7th, 2017, UFC 217, Bisping versus St. Pierre, New York, New York. Paulo Costa is booked opposite his biggest name to date, former welterweight champion Johnny Hendricks.
I was talking to your coach, Eric Albarracin, and he says he wants to call you the Eraser because you erase people. How do you feel about this nickname?
Yes, it's the best translation of my real nickname from Brazil, because I'm like I erase everybody like this. So yes, and I think it's better for the public of America understand why the Borrachinha is like the Eraser.
What does Borrachinha mean in English?
Yes, Borrachinha is because my brother is the Eraser.
Oh, really?
Yes, so I like a little eraser,
Yeah.
It's like this.
I love it. The little, because Inya means little.
Yeah,
I like it.
Exactly.
Borrachinha defeats Hendricks by second round TKO.
How did you feel in the locker room? Were you more nervous than usual?
Yeah. Yes, in this fight, I'm feel very calm, very calm.
But very calm. It was very calm.
It's not like nervous. Very calm. I'm born for this. I'm born for this. For fight and fight with happy. It's not nervous. I'm talking with my coach every time. So I'm born for this. Yes, now is my time. And the next time, the next generation. I'm the next generation from Brazil, and I know I have a question. I will be the next legend from Brazil.
February 10th, 2018, UFC 221, Romero versus Rockhold, Perth, Australia. An 11-0 Kiwi training out of Auckland City Kickboxing makes his UFC debut on the early prelims and defeats the 11-1 Rob Wilkinson by second round TKO. April 14th, 2018, UFC on Fox 29, Poirier versus Gaethje, Glendale, Arizona. Israel Adesanya makes his United States MMA debut, facing Marvin Vettori.
After your first fight, I saw a lot of people giving the young John Jones comparisons.
Yeah.
But I think the physical attributes are undeniable, but your games are different. I mean, so
Exactly.
do you welcome that comparison? Do you not?
For me, it's not about John Jones. It's just, I feel like it's disrespectful if you try and compare me or what I've done throughout my career to someone else, whether it be Anderson, Connor, Chael, whoever. I just feel, I'm not the next blah, blah, blah. I'm the first me and the one and only me. So people are going to get used to it. And yeah, the comparison is cool, but it's not really cool.
In February, you're making your debut, you're buried on an undercard. Now only a few months later, you're on a main card on Fox. Millions of people are going to watch. Like, is this happening faster than you expected it to?
Not really. I kind of expected all this, and I knew once the UFC got a taste, they'll be like, oh shit, all right, everything on it, bet on black. So I just knew it was gonna happen. But yeah, I've expected all this, and I mean, no different. When I'm in that cage, it doesn't matter whether I'm the first fight of the night or the main event. It's just me and another guy in that cage, and we're gonna do it. Yeah, being a champ is just, like I said, it's just a little trinket you get along the way when you on the level that I'm on. And I feel it's just gonna happen based on the way I fight, based on my charisma, based on the way I just, carry myself. And yeah, it's not really about the belt. It's about, for me, being the guy that people talk about when they talk about like who's the best that ever did this, and I want to be one of those guys that'll get top 3, or they can just say, nah, it's him, guaranteed, bar none. And that's my goal, and having fun along the way, The moniker, it comes from the TV series, Avatar, the kids show, yeah. So I was watching that as a kid, and I kind of related to Aang, the main character, a lot in his journey, his quest to realize his destiny as the Avatar, because he has to master all the elements, fire, water, air, and earth, to realize that he's a guy of this world, So in this game, I feel like I have to do the same. I have to master all the elements of martial arts to realize my destiny as the Avatar.
Let me ask you, everybody was so excited with Israel in his debut, both in the cage, his creativity, but also on the mic, his confidence. Were you as impressed as everybody else was?
I was, but I knew it was coming, right? Like, we knew Israel Adesanya before people in the UFC got introduced to him, because I called him. I said, hey, are you willing to come and train with me before I fought Jones the first time? Because I saw the similarities right away, right? So when we watched him in preparation for the fight, thinking that we can get him as a training partner, what he did in there was no surprise. What did surprise me was his ability to stay within himself in his first UFC fight. Didn't get excited when he hurt his opponent. Took his time, stayed the course, defended takedowns, right? He would get taken down, get right back up to his feet. He just fought as well as you could expect for a guy making his UFC debut.
You look at Israel and sort of the body of work he's put together. I mean, his overall combat sports record is something ridiculous, 70 wins, something like that. How do you view him as a prospect? How do you rate him? Is he one of these blue chip prospects where by the end of the year, we may be talking about this guy in title contention? Or is this something where we maybe should slow our roll and let him get his feet wet?
It'll take some time, but not a really long time. It'll take a little bit of time for him to fight for a title. But I want you to know this, though, that when Romero and Luke Rockhold were going to fight for the interim title, and Romero missed weight, Israel said, hey, I'll fight Rockhold. No questions. He goes, I'll fight Rockhold for an interim title. Why not? That's the confidence of this young man. He's a really, really big-time prospect. The UFC seems to be putting, he's on Fox on his second fight in the promotion. There's a lot of hope that he could become a star. He has all of it, man. He has everything to become a star, but he's got to take care of Vettori.
Adesanya wins by decision.
For me, I just keep going forward. Like, I don't really care about the expectations of other people. It's just the expectations of myself and my team that I put on myself. So I expect highly of my performance. So tonight I'll give it like a 4 out of 10 if I'm being generous, like a 4 out of 10. But yeah. Next, I heard Brad call me out, Brad Tavares. So if you want to, he can get it. But let them they can all look at this fight and think, oh, he's been exposed or whatever, Let them think that. Come see me and you see what happens when you're in there with me. Well, wait till later on. This is my second fight in the UFC. It's my second fight in the biggest fight promotion in the world. So I'm still swimming well, with these sharks. And yeah, you'll see. Just give me time. Try and beat me now, because every time I step in there, I get better. So if you want to try and beat me, try it yesterday.
July 6, 2018. The Ultimate Fighter 27 finale. Tavares versus Adesanya, Las Vegas, Nevada. In only his third appearance in the UFC, Israel Adesanya is booked in his first UFC main event opposite longtime UFC veteran Brad Tavares.
You see the body language, it's different. I believe what I'm saying. He doesn't. He's just trying to say what the blueprint is and what he thinks he's supposed to say. I'm all hype. Please, he's only here because of me. Check my resume. I keep saying, check my resume. You see my body of work. I'm 2 fights in the UFC, 3 fights in 6 months. I'm running the show now. Who else? Not many, if any.
Do you enjoy wrestling?
Yeah, bro, like no one's ever seen. It's been my secret. Like, even we have a guy on my team like Brad Riddell. He's a world champion kickboxer. You guys don't know him, or some of you might know him. Beast. He's around he's been wrestling for so long, but no one knows it. So same thing when he comes in the UFC or when he's been fighting MMA as well. Everyone's gonna try and take him down. So same for me. I've been wrestling for a long time. I've been doing jiu-jitsu since 2010. I've been wrestling probably since 2013. Well, properly since 2015, like consistently. So you guys see my life. You seen I've had now 2 UFC fights. How many takedown attempts? How many were successful? Check the stats. Don't even, like sometimes stats lie, numbers can lie, but look at my fighting style. These guys shoot for the hip and they slip, you know, I pull them, I wear them like a pair of pants when they go for a double leg. You know, they go for a single leg, I hit them with a choke. I can do anything, but you guys just haven't seen anyone keep me in a position where I'm uncomfortable, you know? But I get comfortable with the uncomfortable, that's me.
Do you feel like this is the one where you can kind of prove that you're at this level with this kind of fight?
Look at the guys he's lost to, you know, the Romeros, the Whitakers. Those are guys that just fought for a title recently, I think in Chicago. So I feel I'm better than those guys, you know. You guys might have your own opinions, you know, everyone on the, you know, say their own shit, but he loses to higher quality competition and I'm the cream of the crop. So come Friday night, it's another one.
In a breakout performance, Adesanya showcases on Tavares and takes home a dominant, unanimous decision. The victory also earns Izzy his first UFC performance bonus.
There was some talk about Adesanya, this being a little bit too early for him to face a quality opponent like Tavares in the middleweight division, a top 10 opponent, a durable veteran. It didn't seem that way in practice tonight.
Absolutely not. I mean, this was a test that even I doubted whether he would be able to pass it. It seemed like it was almost too much too soon. Boy, he proved a lot of us wrong. I mean, that was impressive. To be able to come out here in your 3rd UFC fight, may headline a card and just put on a show. What he did to Brad Tavares tonight was completely impressive. I mean, Brad Tavares, if you look at him historically, the kind of opposition he fights in the UFC, he only loses to A-level opponents for the most part. Israel Adesanya just came out here and blew him out of the water. So his striking is a joy to watch, man. His head is never on the center line. There's fakes and feints all over the place. The elbows and the knees. I mean, there was one point where Tavares had wrist control on him and he kind of did like a step-in elbow from it. He was throwing like the spinning elbows like a John Jones style. It was just so impressive to watch.
To your point, Tavares only has 3 losses going back to 2011, and 2 of those losses are against one Robert Whitaker and one Romero, who are, by all intents and purposes, the 2 best middleweights in the world.
100%. I came in there, smoke bomb, boom, ninja run. Because I told you, it's real ninja shit. And to everyone that keeps saying my hand signs are fake, look, I've been drilling these for a long time. These are not fake hand signs. These are for weeboos, all the anime nerds. Like, you guys don't understand. Like, they keep saying, oh, that bullshit, just fucking doing stupid hand signs. Like, I drill these things and I get them inside. It's for my chakra to infuse them and make sure I can, like, channel it in that moment. You fuck with Naruto? Fuck yeah, I'm there. I like your ninja way. So by blood, I'm Nigerian and I'm from the people, the Yoruba tribe, you know. So I was speaking, funny thing is, I used to think we had like 60 million people in Nigeria. That's a lot. Then my dad was like, no, we've got like 180 million and counting. I kind of realized, man, that's a lot of people I haven't really they don't, like New Zealand, they know who I am now, but Nigeria doesn't really know who I am. I'm trying to you guys, I'm out here, I'm representing you guys. Like, look at my chest. You know, I kind of just let them know, like, I'm here. Like, don't, just take notice. Notice me, senpai. Notice me. I want to be a legend in this game. The belt's just like another trinket I collect along the way, you know? Yeah, so the belt, it looks good on black skin anyway, so I like gold like that. Shines, illuminates on black skin. So the belt will come, but it's not the end goal, because a lot of guys like, I want to get that belt, I'm going to be the champion, you know? And they get the belt, and the next fight they lose the belt, because that was the pinnacle. I was like, oh, that was it. I'm just trying to fuck everyone up in my era, in my weight class. So when it's all said and done, like, you know, Israel was a guy. He was smoking everyone, you know? I mean, I saw something as well on Instagram today. It was 5 or 6 years ago. It was an end to an era in the middleweight division, you know? Anderson Silva lost his title, and that was after a 12-something fight run, I can't remember. Lost it to Chris Weidman, and that was today, 5 years ago. And yeah, now, as a new avatar in the world, the cycle continues. So I'm that guy now. I'm gonna make my run. because he inspired me with what he did, you know, and he's still rostered on, so he can catch these hands. Like I said, just because I'm a fan doesn't mean you can't catch these hands.
July 7th, 2018, UFC 226, Miocic versus Cormier, Las Vegas, Nevada. The undefeated Costa returns to the cage opposite dangerous striker Uriah Hall.
Do you feel like opponents are almost intimidated by you in a strange way? Because it seems so far in your UFC career, it's been very easy for you.
I'm training a lot. I'm very dedicated. I make all my trainings with very compromise. So I can now fight in the light heavyweight, but in the my body is, eu posso, meu corpo me permite lutar no médio, mas eu poderia estar lutando no meio pesado porque eu tenho força para isso.
His body is amazing because he can fight in 93, 205, or he can fight 184. He feels strong in both categories. You know what I mean? Because this when he see his opponent 184, quando tu vê os oponentes do 184, he look at the guy, say, gonna destroy this guy. This is what his mind is so strong.
When you see me and you see my opponent, I look like a giant in the fight. So
my mind.
So this is a huge difference. So I think when he looks to me, he say, "Oh my God, what the fuck is he?"
Israel Adesanya, who's headlining on Friday, has already sort of almost called out the winner of this fight, says he's going to confront one of you, whoever wins, whether it's you or Uriah, and he wants that fight next. Is that a fight you'd be interested in after this? Israel Adesanya?
What is ranking? Is that the ranking?
Yeah, he's headlining on Friday.
No, but is the ranking is
no,
what?
not yet.
Tell him to, desculpa, ele falou que tem cara que tá desafiando.
Quem?
No sábado. How the name of the guy?
Israel Adesanya.
You even don't know the name of the guy.
I don't know who is him. I don't know.
Well then.
No idea how Paulo Costa makes 185.
I think he works out. What do you think?
No.
185.5 for Paulo Costa, who has a big contingency here. They're very happy.
Brazilian fans in attendance seem to be very excited that the Eraser has made weight. An objectively good-looking man, Sean Al-Shadi.
Oh, I think
Costa.
anybody who would argue otherwise is just a hater, frankly. That's just a fact.
I'm just being objective.
But that's what we do here on MMA Fighting. We're objective reporters.
In an action-packed scrap, the Eraser continues his winning streak and finishes Hall midway through round 2.
That fight against Uriah Hall, what can you say about that? That was really impressive.
I actually thought Dana White's summation was really good. He goes, he's good looking, he's got a great physique, and he fights like hell. I was like, yeah, that's basically about it. You know, he also gave some props to Uriah Hall. We probably should too. I thought he went out on a shield and fought in a very committed way. But you know what really got me was we talked about the firepower with Mike Perry. Oh my God, the firepower from Bohachinha is absurd, and his hand speed. Brazil has needed some young stars to replace the ones who are aging out. They're going back in September. I'm wondering, I know it's still early, who's still in the prelims for crying out loud, but how far can he go, do you think?
I don't know. I mean, he's already targeting the top. He called out Chris Weidman after this fight. I don't know if he'll get it, but it's obvious Dana White likes him, the UFC likes him. That's an interesting fight, man. Chris Weidman didn't get that title shot against Kelvin. The UFC has a proclivity for rushing these kind of guys when they really target them. I don't know, but I think... Also, I just want to add, how the hell does that guy make middleweight?
I don't know.
It makes no sense.
What is his
all.
body fat? It has to be less than 1% or something.
It makes no sense to me, but man, I can fight.
A great entry to the middleweight division for sure.
November 3rd, 2018. UFC 230, Cormier versus Lewis, New York, New York. The Stylebender is booked for his 4th fight in 2018 against his toughest competition to date, the top-ranked Derek Brunson.
Where does the bad blood between you guys stem from? Is it just the product of you guys fighting each other? Like, I mean, you guys have been pretty heated with each other.
It's his insecurities. That's where it stemmed from. I had no beef. You know, I'm chilling. But it's his insecurities that are surfacing up. You know, because he's never been in this, and he sees what I'm getting, all the shine, all the money, all the clout that I'm supposedly getting because of all the work I'm doing. And he's been here for so long. This is only my first year in the company, not even a year. And I'm doing way more than he's ever done in his whole career. So, yeah, I think it's just insecurity showing up.
Adesanya defeats Brunson by KO late in the first round. The victory also earns Izzy back-to-back Performance of the Night bonus checks.
I won't say he did whatever he wanted, because that's not true. Early on, Brunson was kind of all over him. But he was stuffing the takedowns, creating separation, getting his back off the fence.
Yeah.
And then he just lit him on fire. Israel Adesanya is on a rocket ship to the stars, ladies and gentlemen.
Man, it wasn't pretty until the moment it was pretty, because it was one of those situations. Brunson was going after him, headhunting. We knew he would do this. He was kind of making it rough. He was taking him in. He was kind of pushing him against the cage a little bit. And you're thinking, this may be a tough night. It may be where he has to kind of grind out a win or something like that. But as soon as he tagged them the first time, this is always, you look at these guys with this kind of swagger, you see it slow down for them. This isn't a guy who jumped in all nuts and wanted to go for the kill. It slowed down for him. You could see him dial in. You could see him drop his hands and just take his time, making sure. Like he said, he's like a surgeon. Like every shot means something. He wants to touch his chin. You could see that. And when you see that type of thing, that makes you see that it factor that we always talk about. That's when you see it in full. So when you see a guy in that situation.
I think part of the reason they have this it factor is a lot of people think you can just will yourself to greatness by saying these things, and to some extent you can actually. It really is true, the power of belief. But I don't think he's trying to raise himself to a level. He has experienced it with other men, and it has told him who he is in the pecking order. He just takes that to the next fight. I spoke to him privately over here in the corner, and he was telling me, he mentioned it here briefly. I was saying, like, what was your reaction after his over? He goes, I couldn't believe how slow Derek Brunson was. Like, he could just see everything move in a way that none of the rest of us could. And
it was reminiscent, honestly, of the Silva. We were talking about the Silva Griffin fight, where you see the difference suddenly. Like you see it in real time, and it actually calculates to your human eye, like your ability to see that, to discern the speed difference.
Were you actually really mad about the short grab? You flipped him off. You're yelling at ref.
He's cheating. That's cheating. And he said to ref, only did it once. He did it twice. Watch the tape. Literally, watch the tape. He did it the first thing he did when he shot. He grabbed on my right side, and I just felt like, okay, Herb didn't see that. I kind of glanced. And then the second time was just so blatant because he's panicking. He was scared. I was just, I need to take this guy down. And thing is, I kind of half hope he did. I wanted him to just half hope, like, so I can just show him what was up. And then when I sweep him, show him what my top game's like. Because a lot of these guys keep thinking, he's just a kickboxer. The smart ones, only the smartest coaches would have been watching for a long time. They would have been seeing what I'm doing. And they would have been like, okay, this guy's getting better. And he said, I see him beat Brad. I thought, he can fight okay. Who's okay now? Who's skinny now? Huh? You got bodied by a skinny. What you mean? So, you have, before the fight, I wouldn't tell a lot of you guys this. I didn't want to say like, Chris Weidman was the only guy I felt if he won, even in lackluster fashion, but if he won in spectacular fashion, he would be the guy next in line. That's how I felt. But now that didn't happen, you have Jacare, who has lost to both Kelvin and Robert, Who wants to see that again? Come on. No one wants to see that again. So you go, who else? Now, Jared. Jared, he did well tonight. I didn't really see the fight, so I wasn't sure if it was a back and forth or if it was an ass whooping. But I know he did well tonight in the third round, but I got mine done in the first round, so yeah, I leapfrogged that. And then you have Yoel, didn't make it, unreliable. Rockhold, and also he missed weight. Yoel doesn't make weight all the time, so that's unreliable. Rockhold, he makes weight, but same thing, pulls out, unreliable. Pull out game strong. Who else do we have? Need something fresh, like something that just makes sense, like, trans-Tasman rivalry. You've got the Aussies. If he wins, what's up, Guns? If he wins, Robert, if he wins against Calvin, even if he doesn't, if Calvin wins, we can still do it. Mexicano versus the Kiwi, the black Kiwi, the Niger boy. But if Robert wins, it just makes so much sense to do it in Auckland, Spark Arena. Because when I talk to Dana, like, after my last fight, he said, I want to make some crazy money. And I was like, yeah, so let's make some crazy money.
February 9th, 2019, UFC 234, Silva versus Adesanya, Melbourne, Australia. Originally booked as the co-main event, Adesanya faces the legend Anderson Silva.
I know you can't look past Anderson Silva, perhaps the greatest of all time, but looking at the man right there to your left, this would be. I mean, I gotta imagine, Rob's got a tough test as well, but is that the fight that you would like most? Because I imagine, especially down here, it maybe a stadium.
Of course, we're looking at Sydney, maybe Brisbane, somewhere, but first, 2, 3, 4, this weekend, Sunday, we both have big tests ahead of us, and everyone, I seen the odds this week, and I'm like, man, y'all must have forgot. Like Roy Jones said, y'all must have forgot. You don't know who that man over there, Anderson Silva. I think a lot of you new fans weren't around during his reign, what it felt like. You might have come around the Rousey era or the McGregor era, but you don't realize who this guy is. So he brought me into this game, This guy inspired me to be able to believe like a skinny black guy can just come in here and fuck everyone up. So he brought me into this game, and for me, it'll be an honor to take him out the game.
You said you're here to have a good time. Yesterday at the open workouts, you did a pro wrestling workout. What made you want to do that?
First of all, sorry, John Vake, because I hit that rock bottom too hard. We practiced it. It was cool. I was able to control the fall, but in the hype of everything, I all my weight went on him, and I saw him arch his back, and I was like, sorry, bro. You ready? And they kept on going, but I'm having a good. This is entertainment. This is still entertainment at the end of the day. So a lot of these guys don't know how to play the game. I've always been an entertainer through my dancing, through my artistry, through my me. I've just always been a very interesting, entertaining person. So that was just cool. And the Attitude Era was my era. So you see me hit the Stone Cold Stunner. I bring out the People's Elbow with the a little bit of the Ric Flair strut, and then the half-assed Spinneroonie. I did a better one on the embedded. I hope they put it on there because I got mad spin. But on that one, I was like, I didn't get enough traction. I was like, fuck it. But I fixed it with the Shawn Michaels kick up, so that was cool.
I don't give a fuck. Look, I'm a fan of this man. But just because I'm a fan doesn't mean you can't catch these hands and elbow and feet and knee. Tomorrow, we're going to throw everything in the cage. We're going to have fun, all right? I'll send him off in a nice way. Let's go.
There he is, folks. Israel Adesanya.
Adesanya cruises to a unanimous decision.
The best way I could describe it was like being in a twilight zone. So when I get to download my thoughts alone, then I can kind of But one thing is that was cool. That was cool as fuck. Even when he caught one of my kicks and I knew he was trying to catch it, and I tripped. And as I was getting back up, I was like, all right, here comes a flying knee. I've seen this many times. And I just slid to the left. And I was like, I've seen this too many. And he tried so many tricks that I've seen. Even when I made him faint and he'd react say example, if he react with his hands out, then he'd just bring it back and do the hand kung fu shit. And I'm like, my man, I've seen these too many times. Even UFC 112, Abu Dhabi with Damian Maia. He's trying to bait him to strike. Come on, throw your biggest shot. So he put his hands down and even put his back against the fence. That's how Bisping got caught with an up kick. I'm not stupid, I don't think I look stupid, but I'm smarter than I look. But hands down, getting punched in the face with some measly strikes, and they expected me to throw a big one. I'm like, dude, it was cool. It was cool, just a cool experience. And I said that after the fight. Everyone else plays it on EA Sports, and I get to play it in real life with the real dudes. So I win.
April 13th, 2019, UFC 236, Holloway vs. Poirier 2, Atlanta, Georgia. Israel the Stylebender Adesanya is set to face Kelvin Gastelum for the interim UFC middleweight championship.
6 fights in 14 months. I know that you wanted to get back in here. You always say about the itchy knuckles, which I love that phrase. But has this just been physically and mentally exhausting at this point? I can't understand how you can keep this pace at this point. Has it been physically and mentally exhausting to some degree at least?
Because you know me, no one's me. Honestly, for me, I've done this throughout my whole career, and people just kind of, oh, aren't you tired? Are you all right? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. I get my rest in between. I know how to play hard and I know how to work hard. Let's put it that way.
The way your whole UFC run is playing out, now it's led to this. Does this kind of feel like destiny in a way?
100%. Dude, look at the fight after this. Come on. Big super fight between the fucking Mozzie and the All Black, the flying Kiwi. It's just, yeah, it's destiny. The way this movie is, this is the Silva fight was the end of my first movie. Leading up to this fight is the beginning of my next movie, and it's gonna end after the Whitaker fight.
In what MMA fighting called Fight of the Year, Adesanya defeats Gastelum by unanimous decision to win the interim title.
It's definitely a front runner for Fight of the Year for me.
Israel
Adesanya coming through, he perseveres through danger. He ends up defeating Kelvin Gastelum via decision and winning this interim title. Just give me your thoughts on this fight, your takeaways. Is this a star-making performance for Israel Adesanya?
I can't imagine it's not. How are you not a star after that? It's not your pick for Fight of the Year. It is Fight of the Year. Justin Gaethje may fight later this year, and so he's always at risk to take that. But it's going to be hard for even him to do this. And it's one of the best fights I've ever seen. It's certainly the best fight I've ever seen live. You're right. The crowd was so into it, so loud, so explosive about it. Honestly, I felt like I'd been in the fight at the end of it. I just had this huge adrenaline dump, and it was hard to get ready for the main event, which was what we all were really pumped for coming in. It's hard to even put into words kind of what that was. If that doesn't make Israel Adesanya a star, what are we even doing here? He was going to be a star anyway, though. This just elevates him. It gives him a belt to carry around. It sets up, I think, my favorite fight in the sport right now. I think Israel Adesanya versus Robert Whitaker, I think that's the #1 fight I want to see right now.
Well, I want to ask you about that fight in a little bit, but first, Israel comes into this fight. He ends up taking control early, and then Kelvin kind of switches things up in the middle rounds. In that fourth round, it really looked as though he had Israel in major, major danger, and he ends up shooting for a takedown, and that seemed to me to maybe be a pivotal decision in the fight, a pivotal turning point in the fight, because Izzy was really on shaky legs, and then he comes out in that fifth round and just lays the wood on Kelvin Gastelum in those final minutes. He was probably 10 seconds away from getting a finish. I want to ask you, same question I asked about Dustin. Did this fight teach you anything about Israel Adesanya, change your opinion about him at all?
Tommy's got a great ground game, apparently. I know he's been saying it, but maybe I just didn't believe it. But I mean, you saw that fifth round. There were some transitions there. He went guillotine into triangle into another triangle, and a couple of those were really tight. That guillotine, Kelvin just bailed on because he knew he was in trouble. That second triangle, it looked dangerous. I mean, it was at the end of a long fight. They were sweaty and bloody, so gives Kelvin a little bit of an edge there, but dude's got grapples. That's everyone in the division needs to watch out. With that type of striking and a lethal submission game on top of it, Robert Whitaker has his hands full.
And that's the fight, right? Robert Whitaker, and probably in Australia, maybe in New Zealand, just in some area like that. How big do you think that fight could be?
I think locally in that region, it's going to be a monster. I think
is that a stadium? Can you do a stadium for that?
100%. I think everyone is on the same page with that. Just go as big as you can out there, blow it all the way out, because Israel Adesanya is one of the best young stars in the sport. This is a sensational fight. They're going to be able to fill that up, no problem. Pay-per-views are always interesting, especially, tonight was the first night of the ESPN On Plus pay-per-view experience. We'll see kind of how that shakes out, but it's definitely a monster fight, and I can't wait for it. I'm so excited.
What are those moments like when you're inside those moments where you guys are just going at it absolutely crazy? Like you said, you're willing to die in there. What is that moment actually like when you're the one in there?
It's hard to explain. Only those who dare put themselves out there like we do will ever experience anything like that. And just in those moments, like I said, I could see why people wilt. And even Eugene told me, you can see on the embedded, he's a guy you just have to break him down. You're not gonna get him out of there with one shot, Eugene said. You just have to break him down. And I was, the leg kicks were paying off, slowing him down. My oblique kicks they're working a little bit. But yeah, he blocked all my head kicks, I think. I can't remember, I'll have to have a look at the fight again. But those moments in there, yeah, I can see why people wilt, but I'm not one to quit. I'm strong mentally. I'm bulletproof in the brain. I'm fucked in the head a little bit. So I just knew you're not going to break me, because I've had 8 guys, 10 guys. I was going to say run a train, but in a different way.
on me in training. And I'm like, if they can't break me, one man can't break me. And he's a tough one hell of a man.
August 17th, 2019. UFC 241, Cormier versus Miocic 2, Anaheim, California. After over a year away from competition, Paulo Costa returns to face top contender Yoel Romero.
I'm ready. I will show who is the new king of this division. It's me. You know, I can beat everybody.
You mentioned Yoel Romero is a massive step up. Whoever beats him definitely deserves the next title shot. And we could be looking, if he gets the win, this could be not only the next title contender, but the next big Brazilian star. It's pretty clear that the guy's marketable. The muscles popping out of everywhere. So it's going to be a good fight.
In a highly entertaining bout, Costa wins a razor-thin decision.
Paulo Costa beat Yoel Romero. Now, before we actually get into what's next for the winner, how did you score that fight?
Oh, yeah, I was saying before that I was shocked at the crowd reaction. I mean, sitting there cage side and really getting a chance to sort of seeing those punches land. I know that Yoel Romero kind of blocked a lot of those shots, but I think Costa did more damage. He put the pressure on him constantly. I think without a doubt, Costa won that fight. No, there's no controversy in my mind whatsoever.
Dennis, your thoughts on how did you score Paulo Costa versus Yoel Romero?
No, absolutely. Just like Casper, I had Costa winning. Listen, the thing with this is that Costa, I don't know okay, I'm sorry, I'm an idiot. Let's get that out of the way. I was wrong. But Costa, we knew physically, this guy's a specimen. We knew that he brings the action. But mentally, I was so impressed with the fact that he wasn't drawn into the Yoel Romero mind games that have plagued most fighters that he's fought. I mean, Yoel was on the cusp of getting back into the fight more than people realize. If you watch that fight closely, he starts gaining momentum. He sticks out the tongue. He's pretending that he's, tired or whatever. This guy's a great actor, by the way. And then he's getting some momentum, but then Costa's still there, and then Costa lands a shot, and then Costa gets the momentum, and he's back in trouble. And that's what I felt was happening over and over and over. And by the way, we have to give Yoel Romero credit because at his age, he was still able to go in there, last the fight. A lot of people would have taken a way out. He hung out till the end and was able to survive all the way. But I mean, Paulo Costa, he is everything that he said he was going to be. Muscles on Brussels, muscles on muscles. This guy has said that this thing's personal, and he's going to go out there and he's going to put a beating on Yoel Romero. He did just that. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. Now, what's your message to Robert Whittaker and Israel Adesanya if they see this? What's your message to them?
I think they both are looking to me. Scared, because the both guys know now have a very, very tough guy looking for them. I think Whittaker will beat Adesanya, I beat Romero. For me, Romero won against Robert Whittaker. But if Adesanya won, take the belt, man, I can kill that guy. He's very skinny. He not have a chance against me. He's a personal with Adesanya, but I think he will defeat.
October 5th, 2019. UFC 243, Whittaker versus Adesanya, Melbourne, Australia. The interim champion Israel Adesanya is set to face the champion Robert Whittaker in front of 57,000 plus fans at Marvel Stadium.
You can make $100 million in the UFC. You don't have to go to boxing. That's it's only Mayweather's gonna make that. Only McGregor's gonna make that. Like when he fought Mayweather. So it's that's a Mayweather effect. That's gonna happen in the UFC. I guarantee you. I might be the first to do it in the UFC if McGregor comes back and compete with me for that. But I might be the first to do that in the UFC. So I don't go to. It's not about money at the end of the day. I'm doing this for legacy. So this is where I'm gonna end my career. I don't want to fight the baddest motherfuckers in the world and then go fight some guy. Oh, we'll duke it up, but we'll just use our hands. I gotta kick someone in the face.
Say something about your star power to have John Jones kind of tweeting at you the way he is and talking about you like that. Sometimes he doesn't even mention guys,
Not really, I don't think so, but it just shows you how much I'm under his skin, how much I get to him, that's it.
You definitely see that fight happening in the future, right?
I told you, 2021, Raiders Stadium, Las Vegas.
You spoke about Mayweather there. Do you look up to him in any kind of way, what he's done?
Man, he's the fucking money. I've been money team for a long time. And When he fought McGregor, I was going for McGregor because when I fought in boxing, you know, my first fight, they made me lose. That's my only loss. And I rocked the guy in the first round, smoked him in the second round, and I coasted in the third round, and they gave it to him. And that's because a guy with no amateur record, no pro record in boxing, coming in and making one of the best boxers in Australia look shit, you know? So when he fought Mayweather, I was like, I want McGregor to win because I can relate to that. So yeah, I look at Mayweather, look when it was Pretty Boy Floyd, what he did, and look at him as Money May. He knew the formula. He created that that not everyone followed. Like Ali did that as well. Like a lot of people have done that for years, but he's done it the best.
In breathtakingly violent fashion, Style Bender knocks out Bobby Knuckles 3 minutes and 33 seconds into the second round, becoming the undisputed UFC middleweight champion.
People, after seeing that entrance, I bet you the green-eyed monsters were like, I fucking hope this guy loses. I fucking hope. I'm sure some of you in here as well. Oh, this asshole, look at him, thinks he's a fucking man. I hope he loses. I hope he gets flatlined. You know, because that's just that. It's ingrained in us. It's this tall puppy syndrome. It's this jealousy that when you see someone shining, you feel like it takes away from your own shine. I'm like, look, I can't dim my shine just because some people feel uncomfortable. Everything went full circle tonight. I danced with some of my day ones, my guys, not even day -5s, guys that I've known from way back. You know, Jay, I used to look up to him, you know, back in Rotorua. Jesse, I taught him how to dance, and now he's just taking it and run with it. And to have them, you know, set the tone for me and just have fun. Like I said, when I'm having fun, I'm the best in the world. So I was having fun. And when I saw him walk out, he was too intense. And you can't fake that shit. You can put your hoodie over your eyes and all you want. I can smell it's pheromones, you know, I can smell it off him. I was like, he's not with it. And he was doing the right moves, but there was no feeling behind it. So I saw everything coming. He hit me a few times, but like I don't like getting hit because not that I'm a bitch or I'm not tough. I am, but it's not smart. But yeah, I just showed you guys I can take it and give it as well, apparently, because I have no knockout power and I got pillow hands. Boo-hoo. You know, you ever heard about the anime called Death Note? Anyone? Hands up? Yeah, so he's the Grim Reaper, right? I have a Shinigami with me, and I just had to write his name because I was like, he's not gonna last. I just wrote his name in the Death Note, and those who knows the rules of the Death Note, they know there's a certain time frame that after your name's written in the Death Note, the Shinigami will get you. So yeah, it is what it is, and it happened as it's supposed to be. I told you, I'm a dancer, I'm an entertainer. Like, I don't have to worry about it. We came up with that on Wednesday. I tried to do it at the Silva fight in February, and the UFC were like, no, we can't have that. I was like, oh, fuck you then. And then this fight, this is my show. I'm headlining this bitch. So I was like, no, I'm gonna do it my way or no way. Like, who else on this kind of stage is gonna do that before they go and whoop some ass, you know? It's no one. I think James Tahuno is the only one that's ever done it, from what I can remember, with the Men in Black intro, and Anderson Silva did it in Pride with his Michael Jackson shit. But like, this is, I showed you guys. If I could sing, trust me, Justin Bieber wouldn't even have a job. But you know, you don't want to hear me sing. But yeah, like, you got to realize this is the spectacle, man. This is a big stadium. I had to give them a show and set the tone. And there's no one like me, like no one.
March 7th, UFC 248, Adesanya versus Romero, Las Vegas, Nevada. The 18-0 UFC middleweight champion, Israel Adesanya, is set to face Yoel Romero as the main event at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada.
My first pay-per-view headliner in America with a card that I actually like. I could have picked some different fights, but you know how the UFC is. But I would have started. Yeah, I feel good. I feel like this is where it's supposed to be. It's the Mecca of fighting, man. This is Las Vegas. This is the big show, and I want to see what the numbers do after this fight. Yeah. I really want to see, because, like I said, it's my first pay-per-view in America with a card that, you know, Sean O'Malley opening the main show. Fuck, that's gonna be sick, man. I can't wait for his comeback, and then the co-main event, that's slept on, man. You guys don't understand. That's gonna be fight of the night, in my opinion. The girl's gonna fucking scrap, man. It's gonna be a girl fight. I want to be an active champion. I want to do right by the division, like GSP did in welterweight, like Demetrius did at flyweight, like Anderson did at middleweight. I want to make the middleweight division great, man.
And to be clear, I mean, you would have been fighting Paulo Costa if he was available.
If he was available, I called him after the last fight, but then, come on, man. I want to pop that motherfucker before USADA does. I swear to God. And I want to be the first one to do it.
Will you call him after this fight if he
He's next in line, but I might not even give him any mind because I've already done that in Melbourne, so it's already the promo's already there, if you will. But if he tries something stupid, I'll pop him again. How many people died from the coronavirus so far? I don't know. Well, how many people died from the common cold? You know, and I don't know, man, this is hype about Corona, and even though I had my face mask on at the airport, but at the end of the day, fuck, I've had malaria like 8 times. I don't know, my genetics is different. I'm not above nature, don't get me wrong, but I just feel like I don't subject to that. I don't see myself in that getting affected by that. This whole Corona shit, fucking knock on wood, I don't get it now talking shit about Corona. Yeah.
Stylebender wins by decision after 5 dilatory rounds.
Tonight? Oh, horrible fight. I was shame there to watch that fight. Adesanya is nothing. Adesanya is the most shameful champion I have seen ever. He just run. He's nothing. He's nothing. He's scared. You know, I think he don't deserve talk about him. But was a shit. That fight was a shit. I will make him cry. I will hit him very badly, and he will cry like a baby. I will slap his face on my fight against him, you know, because that's it. He's shameful.
It takes 2 to tango. You know, I can't force a guy to fight. I can force him to make mistakes, which I did a little bit by exposing his legs later on. But for me, if a guy stands there for the first 2 minutes and just has his hands up, am I supposed to risk my belt and get clipped by him? Which I did. I realized, okay, that's a bad move. And I went back to what I do best, which is pick people apart. But yeah, that was really bizarre. I mean, I might as well have just used a training dummy at my gym as my sparring partner, you know? But yeah, it was just really bizarre because I was expecting a little bit more. And like I said, crafty. These guys are crafty. These old guys, they'll do things and act like, why you not fight? I'm like, I'm chopping your legs up. I'm jabbing you. Why aren't you bringing the fight? I mean, you guys know me. I'm never in a boring fight. That's not my style. You see me even tonight, I overcame adversity. You see me overcome adversity again. I mean, before, in the Gastelum fight. You've seen when the going gets tough, when someone actually brings the fight, when someone actually comes after you with different looks, different techniques, not just one look. And that's just like a wooden dummy, a wooden kung fu dummy, just standing there. You know, you see Robert Whittaker, who actually blitzed, attacked, you know. I need people to try and take this shit off me. Keep trying. One of his tactics is try to bore you. And he's done it with a lot of guys. He'll just stand there and bore you. And then you're just expecting something and you lose concentration for half a second or a second and then he catches you, you know? That's probably his only hope for this fight. I think that was his thing. But yeah, I don't know. That was really bizarre and it's not my kind of fight. But like I said, check my resume. If you haven't seen me fight before, check my resume and see how I really fuck these dudes up.
Costa made a comment. He was kind of ripping you when he came in here after the fight, and he basically said you're the most shameful champion he's ever seen. And he said you just ran, you're scared, and he doesn't deserve that I talk about him. Meaning talking about you, and he said he'd make you cry. You think he's just trying to get his name in the headlines tonight, or
he sucks at it? That's the thing. He sucks at trying to talk trash as well, and he's easily influenced. I can flick his nose, and you'll see him bark at the cage. Like, he's too emotional, and already I know how that fight's gonna go. I'm gonna sleep that guy. He's a guy that I've had a lot of kickboxing fights. His reach, his arms, when he lets it down, reaches his waist, you know? I'll pick him apart. He's a guy that I'll definitely jab, pick apart, catch him, and then knock him out. That's what I was hoping Romero would be. I had certain moves timed, ready for him, but it's hard to implement them when the guy won't come at you. So
Yeah, and it's not the fact that I wasn't trying to attack, because eventually I decided, cool, I'm gonna attack you then. I attacked his leg and I battered his leg. His leg is fucked. Trust me, he's not gonna be walking tomorrow. If you've never taken a leg kick, you wouldn't understand. But I looked at his leg after the fight when I was talking to Joe Rogan, and I saw his legs was battered and bruised, and I already knew it. It was when I think in the 4th round, I could see the damage I did in the leg, so I just invested more in it.
With the Paulo Costa fight being next, can we expect some kind of craziness with press conferences, or might you be able to bring some humor?
The guy, he sucks at English. He's a buffoonus ignoramus. Well, he left. I thought he was gonna like shit in his hand and throw it at the cage. So that's why I was trying to look at Joe Rogan, like, where is he? And it's like, he's gone. I was like, oh, fuck. I was ready to roast him right there and then. Oh, trust me, I'm gonna have fun with him. I'm gonna fucking roast him like a Sunday pig.
Gotcha, thank you.
September 26, 2020. UFC 253, Adesanya versus Costa. Yas Island, Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates. In a clash of the undefeated, the 19-0 UFC middleweight champion Israel Adesanya will face the 13-0 Paulo Costa as the main event on Fight Island in Abu Dhabi.